So 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome to our podcast. This is ModTalk, and we're going to do these podcasts probably every week. I'm Damian Mel, CEO and co-founder of Modern Real Estate Shop, and my sidekick is Josh Tedero. He is our operations manager. Say what's up, Josh.
Hello.
All right.
Hello.
So now you know he's there. So, so we're just going to have these kind of like informal talks, and really the idea is to talk about property management, real estate, but in a hopefully not so boring conversation. Talk about some of the things that we deal with on a regular basis, and talk about some things that will be helpful for other agents and other real estate professionals.
Amen to that.
Amen to that. All right. All right, cool. So part of this is we have developed a new platform, Modern Wholesale Property Management, that we've been working on. And not to make it a commercial right at the beginning, but I would say it's a great platform for real estate agents to basically sign up their clients to property management, make a bunch of money, and not have to do any work.
Yeah, because an agent doesn't know too much usually about property management, so that's cutting that out, right?
No, and nobody wants to do property management. Nobody wants to deal with a flooded toilet at 2 a.m. when they could be selling a house and making $9,000 worth of commission.
Yeah, I love dealing with emotional tenants.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. So that's so if you want to learn a little bit more about that, we'll have the link in the bio to the website where you can enroll online and get started pretty much right away. But just talking about the industry, and want to choose this opportunity to really kind of talk about management. I know you always, Josh, have exciting things going on the floor, and dealing with different property owners and things like that. Anything happening today, or anything that's exciting that you want to kind of kick off the conversation on?
Well, not today, but yesterday. I mean, we were dealing with a potential owner in LA County that wanted to serve a 60-day notice to their tenant for no real reason, just the fact that she was a bit annoyed about, getting too many calls about repairs.
Yeah. Well, they have that box, and like you put on the 60-day notice, that you check it off. It says, "You annoy the shit out of me."
Yeah.
And then you go ahead and you send that out, and that's good. That's good. That the county likes that. The judges, definitely love that. They look at the tenant during the eviction process and say, "Well, clearly you annoyed the shit out of the landlord, so sir, you have to move."
Yeah.
Yeah. Said no judge anywhere.
Then the owner too, obviously having direct communication with the tenant really helps too,
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Is this tenant her ex-husband?
Most likely.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's what we're dealing with
On
a usual basis. I mean, I can't tell you enough about all the ones that call up and, they want to move out of the house because they're getting a divorce.
Yeah, we try not to get involved in that. We tell them this isn't Melrose Place. Yeah, and actually I just had I was actually on a call today and met with a property owner. She has a duplex. She's actually really cool.
The Montclair one.
Yeah, Montclair. Yeah, exactly. She's really cool. She's from Orange County. She had redid her unit. Actually, it looked great, and she was been managing it herself. And originally she said, "Well, what do I need the management service for? Why do I need you?" And she was, "I kind of been doing this myself." And then as we talked longer and longer, she started slipping and letting out the drama. "Well, I'm too nice to my tenants. If they give me a sob story, they don't pay. Well, they pay really little. I don't raise the rent." And so first it started with, I'm a business person and I want to make as much as I can. So if I use a management company, I'm cutting into the revenue. To when we get down to it, she's a really nice person, and she seemed like a really great person, but she's unfortunately being played by her tenants, and they're taking advantage of her.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, I'm like, look, you use our services, it's going to pay for itself. It's going to pay for itself because we're going to make sure that the renter is always paying the market rate rent. We're increasing the rent on an annual basis, which, by the way, when you have a landlord say, "I like my tenant, so I never raise the rent," you don't like your tenant. You're setting them up to fail. You don't raise the rent. In this case, she didn't raise the rent for 7 years. 7 years. Then when she asked the tenants to leave because there was a major flood, they got a huge rent shock. They're like, "Oh my God, rent is expensive out there." So for all you landlords who think you're great because you're not raising your rent, you're actually doing a huge disservice to your tenant. You're not letting them adjust their income and their expenses to reality. And so what happens is when they realize they have to start paying market rent, all of a sudden they go from paying $1,500 a month to $2,400 a month for the same exact place. That's a huge, huge rent shock.
Oh yeah, and that goes back to LA County too, where they have to pay relocation fees now. It's not just, the tenant not wanting to move out. It's the fact that if you even want to get them out, now there's tons of fees involved.
Yeah, that's just crazy. It's just crazy. So it's almost as if the state doesn't like landlords.
Sounds like California.
Yeah. That's okay. I don't think they like businesses either,
Yeah, pretty much.
And, so. But if that's a whole different topic. But I read in the news. This is how contradictory the news is. It said that the real estate market is strong. The next article down says the real estate market is suffering because of interest rates are at 7% again on the 30-year fixed. The next article down, and all written within the last 24 hours on CNBC, was the real estate market is going to suffer a major challenge because the housing market is going to get even tighter than it already is.
Well, I heard they were trying to do a 40-year mortgage now, too.
Yeah, that's not going to help. There's no supply. But I'm just curious. The guy who wrote the first article said the real estate market is strong. I just want to know what he's doing. Is he's clearly not reading their own website. It's like, how's the real estate market strong if there's no listings?
No, there's no inventory.
Yeah, so it's great if you have the listing. That's great. You're going to make your commission. You're going to be able to find a buyer. But yeah, it's just amazing the information out there. But back in 2008, 2009, the National Association of Real Estate always kept saying the market is sound. Don't believe what's happening. It's sound. And then about 2011, 2012, the head of the NAR said, I'm thinking rifles now. The head of the National Association of Realtors said, well, I was kind of pressured to lie. Wait a minute. So you're giving us false information? So, it's just if you don't know any better and you're just kind of reading the headlines, you're kind of confused on what's going on out there.
Sounds like other topics I know.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, too, is, so in 2009, people would call us all the time. How did you get into property management? I can't get a listing. The market's not moving. Everybody's losing to foreclosure. Everything's bank REO. How did you get into it? And what the interesting thing is property managers were like considered the low end of the totem pole, right? Like it's like we were all toothless with a single filing cabinet in a dusty office. It's like, oh, you guys are property managers. Yeah, and then as soon as the market falls apart, all of a sudden everybody wants to get in on the action.
No, yeah, that's the beautiful thing about property management.
Sound guy, is my mic okay? Okay, I feel like I can. I feel like it's a little like, we're still getting used to our equipment here. Our sound guy, we got him on a budget off of Fiverr. What do you expect?
You can adjust it so it comes down more. So
You want me to adjust it so you can see my face a little better?
how Josh is.
Yeah, like right here.
So Josh is better
See if
than
it's
me?
a little too far, just bring it right here. We're good.
Yeah.
You can bring it down.
I can't bring it down because this cheap sound bar you got right here is not coming down. So, okay, well, we'll forget that. This is what happens when you get your sound guy off of Craigslist. No, actually, it's my son. It's all right. So, but anyway, no, but it's interesting. It's interesting on where the market's at. It's interesting on what's going on. I just think as an agent, you need to have as much information as possible. I was just talking to an agent the other day. He came in our office, and he said he's farming, and I'm thinking, geez, I haven't farmed in over 20 years. One, you don't farm when you have a portfolio.
No.
You farm by sending an email out to your clients asking if you want some some comps and CMAs and things of that nature. But yeah, you definitely don't farm with a portfolio. But yeah, he was farming and he said to me, man, I'm knocking on doors, and the people that are interested in even potentially selling said they're not doing anything right now. They're unsure of the market. They're unsure of everything, everything from political to economic. I mean, if you have a student loan, guess what? You got to start making your payments in October.
No, well, that's the thing with property management. It's always stable or really good. It's never usually, I feel like, always down below.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, everybody's got to live somewhere.
No.
So 48% of houses, or I don't know, some statistics, whatever it is, are rental properties. The rest are owner occupied. And then in really bad markets, that shifts a little, and the number of renters goes up, and. So I mean, I think it's an interesting industry, but the thing too is you can usually gauge the economy based on property management, right? Like when people start, you seeing your rent go up, your rent defaults go up. You kind of know where you're headed, right? So coming out of COVID, it's really weird. This is just an odd market, right? We had people getting free money.
Yeah.
And there's still some people getting free money. I mean, people brag to us like, oh, I don't work and I get all this free money.
Well, they had all the relief programs that were happening, so it was halting any owner from even receiving rent because they had to go on a waiting list and all this jazz.
And if you're in LA and you have past due rent, you still have 12 months to make it up before you can do an eviction if you start paying your normal rent. So it makes it tough on an owner. And probably LA is the hardest county and city to do business in just because of the laws that are unfavorable. And what happens is owners that are doing it themselves don't know the laws.
Yep.
And so they're attempting to do these evictions, and they're basically spending tons of money and getting nowhere and being told, sorry, you're wrong. You're doing it wrong, And so it's, I always like to say, doing property management's like we're an insurance policy.
Exactly.
You have a crappy insurance policy where you're self-insured and you have an accident, there's going to be a problem. But, if you have the right company and the right policy, bad times is going to get taken care of. So that's kind of like how, we kind of view property management. But no, it's interesting. I just seen the market where it's at, the overall market, and it's very confusing. They're saying the labor market's good.
No.
Yeah, except nobody working. There's nobody working.
No, that's the big problem.
Yeah, and most employers have given up because people that come in are complete jackasses.
Mm-hmm.
They show up late to an interview. They can care less. They think that they're worth 3 times what their actual worth is.
They're saying the Gen Z. That's the whole thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to work, quiet quitting, all that fun stuff.
Well, that's because millennials are their parents and they're still in their grandparents' basement. When your dad's wearing a onesie, all right, in the basement, and he's playing Super Mario Brothers, what do you expect?
Good movie, by the way. Good movie.
Okay. Yeah. But guess what? Now they have to pay their student loans back, right? So now they're not going to be forgiven.
Well, yeah, and it never goes away.
Yeah,
that's on you till death.
They're upset. Like, well, hey, why did you take out a $30,000 loan to do basket weaving?
Well, that's what they're discovering. There's no ROI on any college degree anymore.
Well,
Nothing.
no, because
it's not worth it.
No, because they got liberal arts
Trade
degrees.
school, be a plumber, be something else.
Has anybody ever seen a job that says must have liberal arts degree? I don't even know what that means.
You have
I don't know what that means.
Gender studies. You have all types of fun stuff.
Yeah, these are things that we don't need. So do a trade. Yeah, be a plumber, be an electrician, be a framer.
Yeah.
Plumbers. Oh, geez, man, those are great. Plumbers are great because hey, guess what? You flush shit in good markets and bad markets.
Yeah.
And if it don't go down, you call the plumber.
No, it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
It's something in our lifetime is anywhere.
No, exactly. So getting a trade is good. So I just think that I talk to a lot of people that everyone's interested in real estate. Everyone's interested in real estate. And then you talk to people who get their license. I don't know. There's like something like 350,000 I read real estate agents in the state of California.
I can believe it.
They get their license, but the average agent does one transaction in the course of their lifetime, and it's usually for their family member.
And I can also believe that.
That's it. They do that one because they think that what happens is they watch Selling Sunset, and they're like, I'm going to get my license. I'm going to work in this cool office, which, by the way, nobody works in offices anymore. Apparently, we all work inside of our, basements remotely. But then they're like, yeah, it's just gonna flow. I'm just gonna make all this money doing real estate.
They don't realize you have to have the drive. You have to be out there. You have to be hustling. There's so many hours to the day.
It's a hard process. No, but look, if you're okay, here's what I think about it. So going back to the guy that said he was door knocking, right? He's door knocking, and I'm like, well, what do you do? He goes, okay, well, I was trying to understand his career. And he's on a team. So teams are kind of foreign to me because we don't do teams here in our office. And when I kind of got into real estate in the early 2000s, late 90s, in that time frame, they didn't really have teams, right? It was kind of like you come in, you do your own work, and that's it, right? Like the guy sitting across from you would try to steal your listing. Now they have teams, right? So they're working in this environment. So I said, okay, well, how does your team work? He goes, well, we all work remote. So that I don't understand because I don't get if you're not sitting around working together, doing stuff, collaborating, you're working remote.
No.
It seems like you're a little disconnected, but okay, fine. So if it works for him, he's on this team. And so what I asked him, I said, look, what do you do? Like what, he goes, well, the team, he goes, basically the team, provides, they provide leads, right? They provide leads. They provide, just adjust this. Is that better, sound guy? Sorry, now he's giving me the thumbs up. Okay, so for probably the first 10 minutes, nobody could see my face. They're like, oh, who's that guy? It's a new character. I didn't see him in the credits. Okay, so anyway, so he's on this team, and I'm like, okay, what do you do? And he's like, well, the whole reason I'm on the team is because they provide me leads. Okay, leads, but I'm out farming. Okay, so you're out farming.
This is a whole team of agents.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 people. I think they kind of work, and they all maybe they specialize in something. I'm not 100% sure how teams work.
Okay.
But anyways, I'm like, you're out farming. What do you do? Well, we just do listings. Okay. Well, here's the thing: the amount of energy it takes to farm. Shouldn't you have more things that you do? So when you knock on the door, I don't know. Me, I'm like, hey, Do you need your house, cleaned, vacuum? Can I show you this vacuum selling a Kirby or whatever, right? Like you're already in front of the person. Why don't you sell them as many things as you can? And not that I'm suggesting we sell vacuums, but what I'm saying is, wouldn't it be better if you're like, hey, we offer management. Are you thinking about refinancing, or I can get you a home loan? What about, are you remodeling?
Remodel?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. These are all things that should be in your environment, right? Like, why are you not?
We'll be under one umbrella instead of just being that little branch.
Yeah, and even if you don't do all those things, you should know people that do all those things, and you should be able to then be able to, hey, I can get a contract over here to get you a price, right?
No.
Become that resource for that person. I mean, you've already taken the energy to go walk up to this guy's house, knock on the door, and say, hey, you're only just saying, hey, are you interested in selling? Instead, why don't you knock on his door and having a general conversation about what he's doing with his property, whether he's staying there or not, right? Like your success rate should probably increase exponentially because all of a sudden you're going to have these different resources. Plus, you're letting him know that, dude, I have a lot of resources. Here's my card. Call me. Let me know you need something. If I can't get it done, I'll get somebody who can for you. Like, right? Like that becomes the premise behind it. But that's not necessarily the thought process. The thought process is you're just trying to get that listing. There's no listings to be had. They're very far and few in between.
Well, yeah, I don't think a lot of people actually think about all that. Like, what else can they do besides the one item? It's like we're so hyper focused on one thing, yet there's all these that you can do. Yeah, you might not get the listing, but it's like how you said too. It's like, what if I was able to remodel?
Yeah.
What if I was able to do this? And it's like, yeah, you might not have those at first, but it's like, okay, well, you don't need too much money or certain things. Like you have the energy, it's all physical, right? You have the time, you can put your focus into something else too to help create or generate that money,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and don't start your conversation out like, oh, your neighbor told me to come talk to you because he said you might be interested. Like, okay, nobody's falling for that shit, all right? Like, dude, don't do that. Just walk up and have an honest conversation with them. Like, I don't like sales. I hate sales. I'm not a salesperson. I can't stand a salesperson. Please don't try to sell me something. I have the internet. I probably already know more about it before you even walked up my driveway, right? Like we already know. Like I don't need you to tell me that energy rates are going up and if I don't buy solar, I'm going to go broke. Like, okay, dude, I mean, you're 12. I don't think you've ever paid a electric bill in your life. You probably live home with your parents, and you're going to lecture me about the energy. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like that's not a way to have. I just don't think that. I think in this day and age, we have so much information at our fingertips. I mean, you want to know something, you're going to be like this. You're going to watch this podcast, or you're gonna Google something, right? Like, what do you need? You don't need somebody to sell you on something. What you need is somebody to have a conversation with you. Somebody to have a conversation and explain, hey, this is what I can do. This is what we do. What are you doing? And try to have an organic relationship with someone. I think, would be much more efficient. And I think that's why it's important where agents say don't do everything. They're basically kind of shooting themselves in the foot.
Well, that's the beauty of this program. That's how we're talking about, right? Having all those other things. Like, for instance, it's like you don't have the company, but that's where we come in.
Correct.
Right? You have a tool now, right? So they can get some income right there. They don't do property management, but if they go through what we have going on, there's income to be made.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and we were just finishing up the online our online website, and it's really cool. An agent, not to make it a commercial, but it's kind of a commercial. I got to pay the bill somehow. So the agent basically can log on, click, and then within 5 minutes can enroll.
No.
Once he's enrolled, he can literally sign up a customer in less than 5 minutes. Automatically emails the customer. The customer can assign it in less than 2 minutes. Done deal. We take over, and that agent will earn money in perpetuity until that contract is over.
Exactly. And then they can sell it after, right, if they need to. And that's their client.
Yeah, I mean it's that. Yeah, they'll just get that payment every single. They don't have to do anything. It's all they do. They spend 10 minutes. You're having a conversation with a homeowner. Why are you just not adding more arsenal? More weapons to arsenal. Why are you not saying, hey, I know a guy can put windows in for you. Why not? It's the house. You should specialize in everything in the house. We always tell people in our office, like, if you're going to be an agent, work in our service department. I can't tell you how many agents are complete boneheads when it comes to. I meet agents and they don't know anything. They're trying to tell me what needs to be fixed on the house. They're trying to be all technical with me, and they're giving me the property report, and they get the guy goes out, he does the inspection on the property, and they're freaking out over everything. And I'm thinking, like, I'm a general contractor. I do this for a living. This is your first house that you're selling, and you're freaking out over these things that are not what you think they are, right? And it's not that the agent's trying to do a good job for their client. Problem is that they just don't have the knowledge. They're lacking the actual knowledge. You know, I'm like, you work in the service department. That's like being a mechanic before you sell the car.
Yeah.
Man, you know what's going on. You know the ins and outs of the car. You know all the moving parts of it, right? So yeah, so it is interesting. Which is funny though. We had a listing. We had a listing, and the buyer used an agent that was a family member. They said they were going to do their own home inspection. They weren't spending any money. Right before they closed, there was a nest of what looked to me was termites. You know, they once a year they kind of spawn their babies.
Yeah.
The inside of the house, in one part of the house, it was covered with thousands of termites on the floor. They're all dead because they couldn't get out, and they sprout little wings. They're all freaked out. What is this? Well, I don't know what it is. I didn't do an inspection on the property. It was a rental. It had been a rental for like 10 years. You insisted that you guys were going to save money and do it yourself, you know, and you've already signed off on all the disclosures. You need to close.
Yeah, and it's like, you understand, it's like housing is going up, and I understand everyone's hurting and trying to find a house as quick as they can, you know, but it's like you need to do your due diligence.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. I mean, that's, again, if you're an agent, you're doing a disservice to your client. If you're if you're not taking the time to do the right things, you know, don't look at, you get a listing, don't be an ass. Because you have the listing, you're not on top of the world. There's only one listing, but at the same time, do your due diligence when you're representing the purchase, and make sure that your client's getting the representation they deserve. Right? You're not just trying to get the commission on it. But so we always try to train the people in our office to like, look, you got to know all these things. So it is interesting. It's just kind of interesting in the dynamics. What's going on. But here's what's craziest. So going back to the economy. Usually you look and see, like, in a normal up and down cycle in the economy, first you'd see like the home improvement stores would start doing bad. Lowe's and Home Depot would start, people are not remodeling. Lowe's, in just case you guys don't know this is, Lowe's' primary customer is a female. It's a female.
I don't know if you've been to a Lowe's lately, but it's like I go there once in a while. Like I went there for lawn equipment, empty.
Yeah, well, that's because girls don't mow the lawn, dude.
Yeah, well,
so
it's pretty empty.
They don't mow the lawn.
I get blown away when I go there.
But yeah, Lowe's is caters. Their primary customer is female, and that's why they sell toasters. And I mean, that's totally sexist, right? But like, I make toast, so I actually asked my wife to make me toast, and she said, "Well, you know where the freaking toaster's at." So, but anyways, so their primary is they go after the female, where Home Depot goes after the male / contractor, right? Like, and you kind of notice it in some of their commercials, but you notice you won't go to Home Depot and find toasters and furniture, but you will at Lowe's, right? And so it's just a different setup. But anyway, so traditionally, like when those stores start to reduce their sales, that would be an indication that people are spending less. They're starting to do less home improvement. The economy isn't doing well or whatever. But we're in this really weird, funky market right now. Lowe's had really high quarterly sales over last year. They're up. Sales are good, and even though it is kind of empty, bigger ticket items are being purchased. But so people say, "Oh, the economy's doing good. The retail stores are doing good." But you got to look at the underlying issues.
Well, technically, aren't we still in a recession?
Well, we're not in a recession. It depends who you ask. If you ask the news, they say no. It depends if you ask the government, they say definitely not. We're rock solid. We churn out our financial data from the same company that does the China financial data. Just make it up and you'll believe it.
No.
But no, what's happening is if you look at the underlying, credit cards are an all-time high. Americans are racking up credit card debt. We have no savings, and we're racking up debt, right? So we have this really weird mix. Then they say that the labor market is really strong. But here's what's crazy about it is, and this is why real estate agents need to know this stuff. This is important. These are the type of conversation you have with your client, right? When you can have a conversation about what's going on and you can strategize about what their goals are, it really puts you in the upper hand versus just another agent who comes in and says, "Oh, I can sell your house, put on the MLS," and he's going to give an inflated number. It's important to have that conversation because your single biggest investment is your house, so you should have some knowledge on it. But what I was saying is, they say the labor market's really good, but here's what's crazy is a lot of people don't realize is when they look at the unemployment rate, they only count people on unemployment.
Yeah.
So if you're no longer on unemployment and you don't have a job, Do they count you? No, they consider you no longer looking for work. I don't know how the two relate together. Like, because I'm not getting an unemployment check, that means I'm no longer going to look for work. Then what the hell am I going to do? I'm just going to, you know.
Well, it's like they do that with all stats. It's like the divorce rate, for instance. They say it's like 55%, but even though it's, well, you're not looking at the correct data, right? What, like, for instance, with that too, it's like, well, divorce, what about the first time divorcers? Well, that's only like 1/3. It's like 33%. So the numbers get smaller, but they're not. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
they're not showing that.
Yeah,
you know?
they're deciding what piece of the pie they want.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to show you, and then use that as what the stats are. So and the reason I bring that up is it's confusing to people who want to understand the market, right? And people want to understand what's going on with the market. You know, look at housing starts. Housing starts are down. We're not seeing as much construction happening, and that's primarily because, you know, developers, they want to develop based on the number of sales, but then when you look at interest rates have gone up, so that that definitely hampers a lot. I mean, 7% is crazy. When I started in the industry, mortgage rates were like 10%. 11%.
Wow.
People it would hit 8%, and they're like refinancing its major savings, right? You know, of course, the house price was a lot, you know, smaller then. You could get a house for, you know.
Oh yeah, now we're talking, you know, 450 to 600 easy.
You can get a house in that. You can maybe get a house in Victorville for $30,000.
Nah.
Of course, who the hell, you know, they're like, oh my God, I got to drive all the way to Victorville. But yeah, at the time, and there was nothing up there. Was a dust bowl, right? It was like new houses, $30,000.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I think the average home in America, I think it's like, was it 330, 350, right? That's what they're saying. But we're in California, right? That's nowhere near what the average home is. I think it's 770 or something like that.
Yeah, it's something
the average
ridiculous.
home in California. It's crazy.
Yeah, let me tell you, you spend $700,000 on a house, you're not even going to get that great of a house.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate thing. I have family on the East Coast, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got this like 4,800 square foot home, and he's got a pool,
Who
and
wants to clean
and he's
all
on a
that?
golf course and everything. He's got all this huge stuff or whatever." And I'm like, "Dude, what'd you pay for it? $250."
Yeah.
Like, dude, I couldn't even buy the lumber. For
Well, that's what they're saying.
$250.
Like, I think Texas has one of the top 3 cities too, to where it's like if you have $250,000 you're making, that money is actually worth like right over 200,000, like equivalent to what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas like over here in California, California is not even in the radar vicinity of what it's worth.
No, it's
what your money is.
Yeah, what our money is. You
No.
know, it doesn't go very far here.
No.
It doesn't go very
No.
far. But hey, if you're homeless in LA County, I heard they'll pay you $900 a month.
When you go down Skid Row, the homes look like their tents and how they build them. They're starting to look better than homes. Like that one listing with the bridge where they had the 1 bedroom.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was great.
Do you think we should start managing Skid Row?
Yeah.
We can start doing. I mean, what would you charge on that? I mean, how do you do a property inspection?
I need $1,000
I
in
need
a can of beans.
I need to come in and see your tent.
Nah.
Yeah, that's just crazy. So yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting. It's definitely interesting on what's going on. So, so what would you say the craziest so far we've had? Craziest tenant interaction we had? I know people always love to hear what kind of our crazy tenant stuff.
Crazy tenant interaction. Physically, not too much. Over the phone, they get pretty violent sometimes.
I mean, we did have a guy come in one time and pay us all cash.
Oh.
Smelled like weed, and then I think he was going to come back and rob us after hours, so we were like, okay, we can't take cash anymore.
He did have, and this is no bullshit, we had a blind lady come in, and I didn't even notice that.
Did she drive here?
She had a repair problem, and she was saying that there was a hole in the wall, and she kept going on about this hole in the wall. And obviously she's blind, but it was, I think her son or someone that was seeing it, and we asked for pictures, and, it was just back and forth yelling and calling us a liar. But, it's crazy. When these tenants come in, how crazy they get. I get blown away.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know we had the crazy tenant with the toilet that wasn't working. And he called up and nobody can understand what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was like, and then we go there and the toilet was working fine. Then he called back and said it still wasn't working.
Well, luckily his daughter would call. I give him that. So the daughter would call, but even then they'd send us videos and everything, and we get there and there's nothing wrong with the toilet. We're like, ma'am, we don't know what to tell you. There's nothing wrong with it. And and I get it. Some problems happen later on when it's, doing different functions but there was nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I know. I think one of the craziest. We had a lady call me. She called on a Friday afternoon. I still remember that she was all pissed off. She was yelling on the phone. She said there was a spider in her bathroom.
Oh yeah.
And it was our responsibility as a property management company to come. Oh, man, we're not going to come for a spider in your bathroom. We recommend you stepping on it.
Well, I mean, years back too, I had an emergency call where I had a lady call me at like 2 a.m. and was just like, "Yeah, my house is being broken into." And I'm like, "Ma'am, call the police. I am not."
I know. Why are you
911."
calling the property manager?
I was like, again, I'm not the police. You need to call the police.
Yeah, that's
Like,
crazy.
I don't.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
We had this house in Riverside, huge place. We called it the Dirk Diggler Ranch. It was huge. It was weird. It was from the 70s. Total like a porn star looking house. So we rented this dude. Dude rents it out, and he was upstairs taking a shower. I guess he was taking a long ass shower. He had a mainline backup. And when he got downstairs, all of his furniture, all of his couch, everything was covered in shit. It just started bubbling out the tub, flooded his whole house. And I remember we went there. He was really pissed off because he was like, "Hey, you owe me all this money. The landlord needs to pay for all this." And we're like, "Sir, you need to call your renter's insurance." Oh, I don't have that. That's too expensive. That's
Still
like,
$8 or $10 a month, but it's too expensive.
I think back then it was like $5. That's too expensive.
Yeah.
That's too expensive. Yeah. So I mean, you just get some weird stuff. Yeah. But so, anyways, it is crazy. I think I think with the market the way it's moving, if anything like it was in 2008, 2009. The economy is going to go down. Property management skyrockets. It skyrockets. People don't sell because one, they lose. If they start to lose equity, if it goes backwards, they don't want to lose it. So hey, I'm just going to hold on to it. They sell, but we're kind of in a unique position right now because we have like a whole bunch of people on 3% and 4% fixed 30-year mortgages, which is awesome. That means they're going to cash flow on their property management for their rental for a long, moving forward way faster. Can you imagine and I know on all our rentals, we locked in at 3, I think our average one's like 3.5%. That's great because rents continue to go up and my payment just stays low and that payment I don't have to worry about adjusting. So I think there's a whole slew of people out there. So that's like a value within your home that I think a lot of people don't even realize. It's like when rates go up to 7-8%, there's a couple things. One is a lot of these loans are assumable, so the buyer can assume them and they can do a second mortgage to pay out, pay the owner the equity out. So the second mortgage is going to be much higher, probably going to be 12% or something like that. But can you imagine you buying a house, a year from now and you're assuming a 3.5% 30-year fixed mortgage that still has 26 years left on it?
No.
That's great. I mean, that's like phenomenal. So there's a value there that a lot of agents, aren't really familiar with because, well, the rates have been low for so long that a good portion of the agents that are in the market today, they've never seen a high rate. They're going crazy seeing these rates, but some of us older guys have been around for a while. You're like, wait a minute, these rates are what they used to be, and they're going to continue to get higher. The Fed said they're going to raise the rates again this year. They're going to continue to get higher.
Well, gas, speaking of that too, gas is going up July 1st. So
Great.
Tomorrow it's going up.
Is that more tax?
That's in California.
Is that more tax?
Gas tax going up tomorrow.
Well, we're all going to go to electric or bicycles.
Yeah, I think it's by 2035 in the city of California.
In fact, have you noticed that? Have you noticed that California is putting in bicycle lanes everywhere?
Oh, yeah.
Everywhere we go, there's bicycle lanes. What's funny is there's never any bikes in it.
Well,
they think this is like the Handmaid's Tales that we're going to ride around on bicycles. I mean, what jackass in the state thinks that we're going to give up our cars and we're going to ride around on bicycles? I don't understand it.
And then our infrastructure doesn't support electric. Like if everyone went to electric cars, our infrastructure would be screwed.
Okay,
basically.
So here I want you to go get an electric car. And then when there's a heat wave, I want you to not use your power. I don't want you to charge your electric car. One instance they're saying we need to go to electric. The next you're going, you're using too much electricity.
You know what the funny thing though is, Corolla was the #1 car bought for years, and hard to beat Toyota, right? Tesla, I think it's the Model 3. I think outbeat it recently.
Well, yeah, but the problem is where are you going to charge it?
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why, like for instance, we've had these. I think it was last summer where in certain areas, I know in Southern California, like a massive grid shut down because there was so much charge. They were telling people, look, because it's summertime, you need to stop charging your car so people can have AC. Isn't that insane? So people can have AC in heat waves. Stop charging your car.
Yeah, there's new charging station in Baker. So Baker, you're on your way to Vegas, there's a charging station. And so when you drive to Vegas, now you see a bunch of Teslas. Before you wouldn't have that because, those guys have range anxiety. They don't know how far their car's going to go. So they put this new charging station in. So you see all these Teslas, and I like to drive fast, and depending on what car I have, I'll be driving. My car's loud, and then these Teslas pull up next to you, and they think they're slick because they just step on the gas, and yeah, they're quick. Some of them are really fast.
Oh yeah, they get up
They
there.
take off. But he can only do that for like 30 seconds because he'll lose his power, and then he has to slow down. And then I pass him, and I just laugh, and I think, okay, well, I'm going to do this all the way home.
Well, nothing
Like-
beats hearing an engine too.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive this speed all the way home. You can't, and I'm not gonna stop for 45 minutes to charge up. And if I do
Yeah.
stop, it's gonna be 5 minutes to put fuel in.
Yeah, because a supercharger, it's like, and that's, you have to find a supercharger too. That's usually like 20 to 30 minutes, something like that, to do a full range. I think that I don't know the terminology.
Yeah,
for it,
yeah.
but,
Well, we have a guy that's working with our company. He wants us to help him find space to put in a supercharger gas station here in downtown Ontario. And he was talking to us about it, and and I understand it is the new thing. It's as much as I'm not a big fan of electric, it's coming. It's it's obviously coming. Are we all going to drive electric by 2035? Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Oh, especially trucks. They keep doing it with trucks, and Ford's Lightning was total garbage.
Well, I
The
just
range
read,
is terrible when towing.
Yeah, a semi only goes like 8 hours. It only goes like 600 miles or 500 miles on a full charge, and it takes like, I don't know, it weighs an astronomical amount. It's just insane.
No.
It's just insane. So, but no, I noticed that. So, like a lot of the properties that they're building now, they're saying we don't need to. So, there's a new initiative by the governor for developers. And that's another thing. If you're in real estate, understand what's going on with development. That's huge, right? So if your development's within a half a mile of a major transportation hub, and what they mean by that is a train, a bus route, then you don't have to have parking for your residents. The crazy thing is if you actually listen to the state and you said, okay, I'm going to build a 40-unit apartment complex, and I'm not going to have any parking, who the hell is going to rent it?
No.
Everyone has a car. I mean, like the state of California, we're a car culture state. We started the whole world on cars. We want our cars. We like our cars. We're not going to, so it's just what's happening in the government, the initiative into housing is not necessarily translating into what the people want. So like I say, you see all these bike lanes. I don't see anybody in them. Yeah, you got the occasional guy who's all wrapped up in skin tight, clothes, like he's some kind of freaking, sponsor, like it's, like, dude, you're not Lance. What is it, Lance Armstrong? One, you weigh like 240 pounds. You got freaking, names all stretched across your. I mean, shit. Are you charging by the square inch on your body?
Yeah,
And then they're riding this bike as if they're somebody. I'm like, dude, you're nobody. But anyways, whatever. That's all the people you see in the bike lane. I mean, are you going to see a family of 4 carting to work and dropping the kids off in the bike lane?
Only makes sense in heavy metropolitan cities like LA and New York, obviously, and whatever cities we have. But it's like it's not even just California, it's general states. It's like,
Okay, well, I'm not getting on a bike in LA.
No,
I'm
I'm
going to
not
be
either.
in a car, so if I get shot at, then I at least have some protection.
I see so many guys getting run over.
Yeah, that's crazy, especially New York, right? Yeah.
It's like Mexico over there.
It is. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like a free for all. It's a free for all. So yeah, no, it is crazy. So I'm just like, I was kind of looking at these initiatives on the downtown, which, by the way, speaking of downtown, right? So our offices are in Ontario. We're filming this from Ontario, recording it from Ontario. In our offices in downtown, we're in the Arts District. The city of Ontario is actually really interesting. We worked with a lot of cities as contractors and as in development aspects. The city of Ontario is really interesting. They're really, really pushing to revitalize their downtown, but they're doing it. They have a unique approach. Get this, they have a common sense approach. I asked them. I said, "You guys know your government, right? I mean, what's all this common sense going on over here?"
Yeah.
They're actually like wanting to invest the money wisely. They're wanting to pack down the downtown with apartments, market rate apartments, and like luxury lofts.
Yeah, they're building a few right here next to the office.
Yeah, and then they restaurants, and they're promoting restaurants, and they want nightlife and retail to come in. But they're taking they're doing a smart design in their development, which is it was kind of crazy. So I mean, if you're in real estate, you're in development, you have developer friends, you're working on projects. The city of Ontario is interesting. They got a lot going on, and I heard Elon Musk is doing a hyperloop from the Ontario airport to the new Rancho Cucamonga train station.
Okay.
And They had the Hyperloop. They have a Hyperloop in Vegas.
Mhm.
You get in that little Tesla and you drive
Yeah,
under the
it's
strip.
towards underground, right?
It's under, yeah, it's
Yeah.
under strip. So you say you tell them, it only connects so many casinos, but you get it from the convention center. You say, hey, I want to go to this casino, and they basically are just driving through this loop, and it's cool because it's got all these lights on it. It's kind of like you're at Disneyland, like on a ride or something.
And
right?
the cars, what are they? They're self-driving
No,
too?
no, they're not self-driving. They're the Teslas with the they're not the ones with the doors that flip up. They're like the SUVs, just regular doors on it.
Okay.
But there's a driver in there, and you jump in, you tell him what casino you want to head to, and he drives there underground. He's under the strip. He's there in like minutes, and boom, he pops up, and he's right there at the casino. But anyways, they're building one of those. So I heard they're doing that from Ontario Airport to the new Rancho Cucamonga train station. And if you're not familiar with this, Brightline West. Brightline is a company owned by Siemens, which is a huge manufacturer. They do trains, helicopters. They do all kinds of stuff, right? Siemens and Brightline is out of Florida. They're doing a train running along the 15 freeway. It's a high-speed rail. It's going to go from Rancho Cucamonga to Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah, I remember you bringing that up.
And you can go to brightlinewest.com. It's pretty crazy. I met a guy out of the country on vacation. We're in the swimming pool at the resort we were at, and he goes, "Oh, you're in Ontario? Oh, yeah." He goes, "I'm from Florida, but I'm always in Rancho. I'm working on a project." And he goes, "Yeah, we're doing this high-speed train to Vegas." I was like, "Dude, bullshit. I'm calling bullshit right now." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "I've been hearing about this so-called high-speed train to Vegas like my whole life." He goes, No, don't confuse this with the state of California." He goes, "This isn't the state. This is a private train." He goes, "This is not the same one as the state. The state's famous high-speed rail that goes nowhere."
Well, if it goes through, I mean, the convenience and then the cities that it's going to land in on each side.
They already acquired all the property,
Yeah.
and they got all the approvals, the union approvals. They're said they're going to break ground this year. If you go to the website, they're going to break ground this year, and it's going to take. I think it's going to take 2 years to build, maybe 3.
That's quick.
Yeah, they're going to build it pretty quick. It's going to run right along the 15 freeway. And from my understanding, what he was telling me was, which this is not on the website, by the way, this is just my conversation with him, was obviously there'll be coach and business class, high-speed internet, the normal conveniences on there, but you'll be able to check into your hotel on the train.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
You'll be able to check into your hotel. They'll have a check-in at the hotel. So we're kind of looking at it and we're like, hey, we can get to Vegas and they're projecting from Rancho. I think there's going to be a total of 3 stops. It's going to stop in, I want to say it's going to stop 2 places in like the high desert. I don't know if it's going to stop in Baker. That would be a boom for Baker if it did.
Yeah.
Which I always thought they should put an In-N-Out in Baker. That would be great.
What is it? Who has the Del
In-N-Out.
Taco? Is it Baker's?
No, the original, that's in Barstow.
That's a Barstow.
But one guy owns all the stores in Baker, by the way, the food. They should do a Del Taco there. That would just be awesome.
No.
They could do it where that water park is at. They have an own exit. You imagine just own exit right into In-N-Out. I mean, In-N-Out, that's what I'm talking about.
Looks like everyone stops there. I'm surprised they haven't done more.
No, it's really small. But anyways, they're going to run this train. So I was like, wow, they run this train from the Inland Empire to Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Then and I happen to know I have a friend who works for a large architectural firm that is doing a casino in Vegas. They're designing, and that's where the train's going to stop too, right? So I can't say what it is, but I was pretty excited about it. I was like, this is really cool. I was thinking like I might buy a house in Vegas, right? Like I could literally jump on the train in the morning, check my emails, do some work or whatever, and get there, Uber to my house, and have a car there.
What was the estimated time they were saying too?
A couple of years.
No, I'm sorry. From point A to B, from Rancho to Vegas?
Like 2 hours or something like that. It's going to do
that's not bad.
Yeah, it's going to
I mean, if you think about it too, it's like if you're living like, especially where we're at right now in Ontario, and you have to do a commute to LA every day, that's 2 hours or more.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like having a home in Vegas and taking a train. If you're working, depending on where you're working, that's pretty convenient.
No, seriously, but definitely can have some other. You have housing there. You could have housing there. So then soon we're going to be managing in Nevada anyways. So we'll probably have a sub office there. So that'll make it easy for me. But no, I just thought that was pretty interesting. Like just giving us some mobility, right? And something it's refreshing because it's not state funded and it's actually going to go somewhere. I think right now you can take a train to Tehachapi. I think that the state train is running to Tehachapi. I don't know what's up there. There's a prison there, but it just goes nowhere. It's like, it's like I feel like we know somebody who's gonna benefit from this. My brother-in-law, I'm a senator. My brother-in-law, has a house there, so that's where we're gonna run the train to.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually run anywhere that's convenient for people to use. So, but yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, maybe getting a place in Vegas would be kind of cool.
No, that'd be great.
Hey, there on the weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I don't gamble too much though, so
I just
like the
enjoy the
buffet.
taxes.
I just like the buffet. I just like the food. So, but yeah, so that was pretty interesting. We're doing the convention, the California Association of Realtor convention in Anaheim in September.
Okay.
So we just submitted our paperwork for a nice corner booth. So we're going to do our the modern wholesale property management booth there. So that should be good. So we'll once we have the booth address and stuff, we'll shoot that out to all of our contacts, and we'll list it on here. So as we get people, hopefully they'll come check it out if they're in the industry.
Yeah, that's plenty of questions.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I know we're definitely gonna get on this podcast. We're gonna have a couple of guests. And our sound guy was saying we can even have people call in. He's got his switchboard allows for call-ins. Is this true, sound guy?
We're gonna have sound effects and
so
everything. We're gonna hit buttons and it's gonna go wah wah wah.
Yeah. So he's shaking his head yes. He's also giving me the middle finger. All right. Again, this is what happens when you get a sound guy off of Craigslist.
Yeah.
So no, I cannot Venmo you the cash right now. You'll have to wait till it's over and we get the edited version. So that's pretty good. You were actually today working, right? I'm talking to the sound guy. You were actually installing a stove today at a property. Did that go well?
Yeah.
Did you make sure to sniff for gas when you put the stove in?
Yeah.
I mean, we want to be in the news, but not for that. So tenant was happy?
It was vacant.
Oh, it was vacant?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully the new tenant's happy.
Hopefully the new tenant's happy.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't let him interact with tenants.
Yeah.
Yeah. He called me one time. He got a call. We put him out on a job, and the toilet was full of, it's just full of shit, dude. It was filled to the top. This thing was gross, and I need to pull the toilet out. I told him, son, you get your shop back, and you get up and close and personal with that toilet and make it happen.
Yeah, just suck it all out.
He said it was gross. He goes, I don't want to do that again. I go, well, that's the joys of doing plumbing work.
Well, that's like the last eviction we had. It's like one of our other techs, he was taking photos, and every toilet, not only was the house pretty much destroyed, every toilet was filled with shit, which blew me away.
Yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I had someone, we did an eviction. They left a bunch of raw meat in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, I can believe that.
They thought it was, we're just gonna. I don't know what that was supposed to do. I mean, it smelled, but it wasn't like the end of the world or whatever.
No.
But yeah, people do stupid things. People do. It was one of our craziest evictions. People say, "Oh, you know what? When you look at tenants and when we have tenants, we need to really make sure that." We need to make sure they're clean and they're good quality tenants, and everybody's got their version of what they think they're going to look at. One of our worst crazy ones was a doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Dude drove a fat ride. He made good money, although I think he was divorced. And then after we evicted him, we realized why he was divorced. He was a freaking slob. And he did the most damage. It was just disgusting. It's like, dude, you're a doctor. You make good money. And I think he was like a surgeon or something. His house was nasty. And I was like, I cannot believe the condition. Like, this is not what you would expect, right? When you meet him, he's driving a nice car. He's in his, scrubs from work or whatever. So you think, okay, cool. This is going to be a good tenant. So it just, it's shocking sometimes, judging that whole don't judge a book by its cover situation.
No, I know. I've dealt with some of them. It's like I've dealt with a doctor, too, who just couldn't manage his money. He made more than enough money when we went to rent out a home. This was like 8-10 years ago, and he was making like $20,000 anesthesiologist, but his credit was in the dumper. He didn't know how to do any of his finances. And he was going through a divorce too. Yeah. So it's like, but couldn't manage him his money. It was insane.
Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe they skipped that in med school. They don't have a financial class.
They don't teach it in school, period.
No. You don't have to worry about it.
Nah. Government will take care of you.
They will totally take care of us. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to get some government housing. They got some government housing in Beaumont, right off the. Have you seen it? Right off this. It's right when the 60 merges into the 10 as you're heading out to the desert. It's on your right hand side as you're going. There's maybe 10 or 15 white look like kind of like tough sheds all lined up,
Mm-hmm.
and then right after that is some bathroom facilities like you would see at a concert, right? Like the trailer of the bathroom. And so that's like originally there was tents there, and then they were replaced with these houses, and so that's their their housing people there. But it's like there's 10. What is that helping?
Well, yeah, they're building economy homes too. Like I saw
Yeah.
some in Texas, which blew me away. Where like they weren't manufactured homes though, but they were modular style, and they went totally rectangular back, one little bedroom. It was like 400 or 500 square feet, if that, and you got like a nice little backyard. And they were building them like all in rows. Yeah. I've seen a lot of that.
Well, we have that one client that's building modular homes that we put together for him.
Mm-hmm.
That they build them they build them in a factory, and everything just kind of clips.
You just boop boop. Like,
Yeah, just kind of. I mean, they say that's what you do, right? Just clip
Yeah.
together. Oh, this thing just clips together. I don't know. I think our sound guy was on one. He did a project. I don't know, sir. Sound guy, did that thing just clip together like a Lego module?
Advanced Legos, right?
He's shaking his head.
Connect.
No.
There you go. Connect.
Yeah,
That's what that was.
He's shaking his head no. He's saying no. They're just not snapped together. They were out there for this was just a little. It wasn't even didn't even have a bathroom in it. This was just basically just like a little tiny cube, right? You could use a home office. Had a electrical panel in it and had a mini split air conditioner. I think there was a whole team out there for like 4 days maybe.
Didn't he want the septic tank to run uphill?
Well, no, that's they want to add another one on the property, and so the next one has it has a wet room, a bathroom in it.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm not really. I mean, I don't know. I'm not into my bathroom being my shower, right on my toilet. I don't know. That just kind of grosses me out. But
Prison style. What are you talking about?
It has this little tiny bathroom in it, which is cool. And then it's got a little kitchen. So they have to obviously hook to septic on this next one. And they want to go uphill with the waistline, and you have to put a pump in. And I'm like, okay, I'm just saying, like, if somebody's in the main house and there's a backup in your septic tank, all of your shit is literally going to flood this mini unit, and you may not know this for days because, if you have a little unit in your backyard, you maybe use it when guests come over or whatever.
No.
I mean, how often are you going in there? And this thing, can you imagine this thing just turning into like a septic tank? It's just filling up because you have a backup in your system and you don't know, and this thing's downhill. So no, they realized quickly that was not a good idea. So the next step was to put a septic tank in, its own independent septic tank, because that would have been a nightmare. But I think that then it starts becoming too expensive, and then that becomes a whole nother issue.
No.
That's the other thing too. So I'm talking to this lady today, and she wants to make her garage ADUs, which, by the way, a lot of cities are allowing ADUs now because of the housing shortage. Which, let's just not confuse homeless with housing shortage, by the way. Homeless people that you see living in the tents by the side of the freeway, 99% of them are not going to live in a house. If you talk to the local PD that works with them, they don't even want services. They really just want to be on the street. A lot of them are mentally ill.
Well, the funny part is I ran into a lady who was at a gas station, and I saw a homeless guy go up to her. She started giving him a couple papers, and he would run away. And I asked her, I was like, what are you giving them? She's like, oh, I keep them on the side panel of my car. They always usually want money or something, right? They're going to go get booze half the time. They could be real, but she's like, regardless, she's like, I know of a great place where they can help them out and all that jazz.
Yeah, they don't want that.
And they give them a pat. I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I never thought of it that way. She's like, oh, yeah. I was like, I even offered to drive him down there. She's like, I've probably driven one my whole life.
Okay, so look at the sidetrack on this and talking about this. We were at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle in LA. So we're like, okay, I got to try this place. Which, by the way, it was okay.
I think it's pretty good.
It was okay. I mean, whatever. I mean, whatever. I mean, you know what? Keep chicken for dinner and keep your waffle for breakfast. I like breakfast too. I don't really want to mix my dinner. Like, why don't I have a salad with some pancakes?
Gravy.
Why don't I have a salad with pancakes? But anyway, so we have all this chicken left over. So we're walking around. This is pre-COVID. And so we're walking around. I'm like, I don't really want to carry all this chicken. It wasn't that great that I'm going to be carrying it with me. So I was like, you know what? Rather than throw it in the trash can, I'm going to give it to somebody. I mean, there's dudes out here, I'm sure they're hungry. I could not find a recipient to take that chicken. They did not want it. They looked at me and said no. They just literally said no. I mean, gee, have a little manners. Take the damn chicken. Throw it away when I'm not looking. But no, they just kept saying no. They didn't want that. They'd say, do you have money?
No.
They have money. And I know in our old office in Claremont, there was always homeless people, even a great area full of homeless people. They'd say this would be their little catch. Hey, can I get some money? I'm really, really hungry. Now, if you tell me you're hungry, dude, I'll buy you food. If you hit me up and say, I'm hungry, can you get me something to eat? I'll buy you food. I will do that because I feel like that's at least my duty, right? Like, I'm going to buy you food. But will I give you money? Absolutely not. You get money by working, and I didn't see you do any work, right? So, anyways, he goes, I go, well, dude, we're right here. We're right in front of this place. I can buy you a sandwich. No. I want to get a pizza from, way down the street at Little Caesars. What? Dude, you ain't hungry then, all right? If you're hungry, you'll eat whatever the freaking somebody's offering you. So it's just their tactic. Right? People just give them money, and it's like it's mind-boggling, So it just was becoming such an issue. We actually left the area. It was ridiculous.
Well, it's becoming an issue all over here in California.
Yeah. So it was
when Banning? It was Banning and Beaumont. Beaumont, I think it was Beaumont, but I know it was out there. They gathered, this was like 3 years ago when it really started rising. They gathered all their homeless people, all a good majority of them. They put them on a bus. They went over to Banning and they dumped them, dumped them. And so Banning sued Beaumont and won for doing that. I thought that was insane.
So we talked to an officer here in our city who said, yeah, we came across a new homeless person, right? We kind of know all of them, they kind of keep track of them and everything. And he goes, it was like a younger guy. And we're like, dude, where'd you come from? And he says, Hesperia. He goes, Hesperia? And he said, yeah. He said, I just got out of jail, and the officer asked me, he says, you want to go to Ontario Mills, don't you? And the guy just kind of shook his head. Okay. And he said, so they said they went to the gas station at the Ontario Mills, and they say, hey, can we pull your video footage? And they looked, and sure as shit, there's a police car pulls up from a different city, opens the door, and the guy gets out. And I was like, dude, that's messed up, right? Yeah. That's messed up. But that's a good thought, dude. Why don't we just, some of the ones around here, we just gather them up and take them to Lancaster. Sorry if you live in Lancaster. Yeah. But, we could just bus them somewhere else, right? But yeah, no, it's crazy. I was just kind of tripping out on that. Every city is basically trying to push them to the other city.
They keep pushing them further out.
No,
and it's not going to go away.
What's happening is they're if you actually look, it's getting worse. They're coming in Venice Beach, dude. If you have a house in Venice Beach, Santa Monica, dude, it's crazy. Those are $1 million properties. So if you want to get a good deal on a beach house, you're going to be able to get one there, right? Because people are going to everyone's trying to sell. As a matter of fact, if you look at this, what's for sale in those areas, it's just all over the place. But yeah, the problem is because they're paying them, they pay them more money in LA County. They're actually coming from other states. Word travels fast because they all have a smartphone, and so they just so yeah, you get more money here, and so they just basically come and register from those other states. And if I want to be homeless, I'm going to do it at Southern California Beach. If you're gonna live the lifestyle, you might as well do it, right? So yeah, so it is kind of crazy. And then during COVID, we were having people, you get people squatting in homes, vacant homes, and then trying to get them out. That
was a free meal ticket right there. You have people in there 2-3 years not paying rent, nothing happening. COVID was a crazy time.
Yeah, no, it was, and we had a lot of obviously frustrated property owners. But that's actually where we showed our value, right, too, because the laws were changing. Literally, they would change while you're talking to an owner you're like, okay, I can go ahead and I can. Oh wait, hold on, while I'm talking to you, a new law just came out.
No,
but it was keeping up with the laws of what you could and could not do was. It's pretty crazy, right? So there's actually a lot of technical details in property management. There's a lot of technical details in real estate. Period. Technically, in real estate, a lot of people don't know this is if you're an agent or a broker, you're actually practicing law. Mm-hmm. You're practicing law, but you're doing it only in the section of real estate. So you're like an attorney just kind of in the section of real estate, right? So people don't really rely on their game they need to be, right, because of what they're doing. So it's very technical. And then when you start having a state like California go crazy with, rent control and the counties with their rent control and, it gets very complicated. Is your property held in an LLC? Is it held in, just your name or a trust? All this makes a big difference. It makes a difference on how you can raise the rent, how you can get people out of your property, things like that. And so a lot of times people just think, oh, no, it's not that big of a deal. I can do it myself. Or the opposite happens and people say, I don't want to keep my real estate. I don't want to have a rental property. I don't want all the headache that's associated with it. And again, why are you doing it yourself?
No.
Use a property manager.
Well, half
Like-
the time it's a lawsuit waiting to happen because they're trying to do it themselves. They
Well,
don't know what the heck's going on.
I mean, you've seen it. We get people who finally get fed up and they say, "Hey, can you manage my property?" We're like, "Okay, cool. Give me the lease that you have." And it looks like they scribbled it out on a napkin at Denny's.
Oh, yeah, it's like
It's
when
like-
you go in to get your car repaired, the mechanic's like, "Who repaired this?" Like, so I'm going to charge you for
Dude,
not
zip
only.
ties are a what I learned from my son are a acceptable way to hold components onto your motor. Okay, zip ties and duct tape.
Yeah,
all right?
well, then we got to undo the repair and then actually do the proper fix. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole thing, and it's like you get
Yeah,
them coming in like that.
I had a friend / client. He was a vendor. Came my friend. He said, "Hey, let me give you my property." He had a property. He had 5 college students living in a property, which in itself was fine. But he made a mistake, and he made a critical mistake. And this is very, very important to know. He put all 5 people had an independent lease. So I look at this and I'm like, dude, who did this? He goes, well, I thought it'd be better. I go, why is it better? Well, because, sometimes people move out and this and that. I go, okay, so let's run through the scenario. So you have 5 people on this lease. So let's say you have, Mark is in the property and Mark goes ape shit and you want to get rid of this dude. He's not paying his rent or whatever. You want to get rid of it. Number one, you have the rent all individually per person. I go, Mark doesn't pay. Everyone else pays. Well, I'm going to kick everyone out because I'm not getting the full rent. No. You can only kick Mark out.
No.
Now you're going through an eviction process. You have to post we can post a 3-day notice on his bedroom door. Like you're going through an
eviction
you're
process.
going through an exactly. You're going through an eviction process. You can't. I go. Let's say out of the 5 people, 4 of them stop paying rent. Let's say 4 of them leave, and you just have Sally left. Sally's like, I'm paying $500 for this whole house.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Well, I'm going to tell her to leave. Well, you got her on a lease. I mean, yeah, it's a month to month. At some point, you can give her a notice to vacate, but you realize that she has the right to occupy that property for $500. Yeah, you have the right. You could go ahead and release, the individual portion of the room, but I mean, you realize what you're doing, and he did not realize, like, he wasn't thinking about the implications of having another. You do one lease, you put 5 people on it, right? That's one lease. If people want to move out, you do a new lease. The other person has to qualify.
Exactly.
And when the one guy moves out and he comes, I'm not friends with them anymore. They're jackasses. Okay, but you're still responsible for the rent.
Yep.
If they don't pay rent, you're responsible for it. It doesn't really matter. It's not our responsibility to get involved in your relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And we get that all the time, right? These kids, they don't understand. Like, but we did have. So we had this house in Chino Hills. It was to 4 college kids, and the HOA said they don't mow their lawn. So I go over there. First of all, it looked like 4 kids' bedroom is what it looked like. It looked like a teenager's bedroom with a kitchen in it. That's what it looked like. The whole place, right? They're like playing video games. There's freaking food wrappers everywhere. I mean, they weren't dirty. They were just kids. But I was like talking to the guy about mowing the lawn, and he goes, "Oh, I've never mowed a lawn before."
Yeah.
I go, "Dude, I'm not your parent. Don't make me be. I don't want to be your dad. Freaking figure it out or hire a gardener, but you chose to rent a house. It's your responsibility." I literally had to talk to them like I was their parent, though. Like I almost said, "Look, do I need to call your dad? Do I need to talk to your mom?"
Well,
see
no,
what's
it's crazy.
going on?
You look at tenants, you go in there and it's like, we'll have a technician go down and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is disgusting. There's things on the window sills or this and that." And we get down there like, well, you need to clean your windows, ma'am. Or, like.
Well, and that's like when you get people saying, "I have mold in my bathroom." The best one is this. Okay, and we hear this all the time. So listen, if you're listening to this podcast and this is you, just know that ain't nobody buying your bullshit. I have mold in my bathroom, and my doctor said that all my problems are related to the mold.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dissect this statement because this is such a common statement. One is mold in your bathroom. First of all, mold is not like asbestos. Yes, there's dangerous mold, but they don't sell asbestos cleaner at Ralph's. They do sell mold cleaner though in the cleaning aisle.
You know what also is free? Opening your window.
Yeah, that too. You can let the steam out of your bathroom if you don't have a fan, right? Like it's like clean your bathroom. And 2 is no, your doctor did not tell you that all your problems relate to the mold in your bathroom, because did the doctor come to your house and take a mold sampling and take it to a lab and test it? No, of course not. Therefore, he's just going to go, yeah, that could cause, and he's going to shake his head. But this is what they do. And my children. Remember, like we had that one property. My children, they're sick. I have to have them live at my mom's house. And we said, okay, well, you know what? I haven't even seen the property, but if that's the issue, we want to let you out of your lease because it's for the kids.
Well, wouldn't you think
And then
she'd
wanna
find a
leave.
way? She would right away like, hey, I'll leave if my health is in danger.
She didn't want
to leave.
She didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
That was what's funny about it. She didn't want to leave. She was like, no. You know, we're wait a minute. You're happy here, but your kids are unhealthy. You're saying that this is a death situation for your kids. That something is going to happen. You know, it's like, really? That's the, you know, and then, but no, I'm not leaving.
Well, but and I went in that home actually, by the way, when I left, and a lot of the tenant just didn't leave it nice. It was just the way they were living, basically.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when people say, "Oh, I have roaches," and 9 times out of 10, we go to look at the property and they have trash everywhere. They don't clean up. There's food debris here, and it's like, okay, well, your hygiene isn't.
Here's how you tell if a tenant calls you and tells you they have roaches. This is how you can tell if they brought the roaches or the house had roaches. If you say you have roaches, okay, well, I can get an exterminator out there probably sometime next week, and they just say okay. That's how you know they brought the roaches, and here's why. Because if I saw a roach in my house, I'd freak out.
No.
I'd be like, bullshit, you're going to come out right now and spray my freaking house. You're going to come out here and, I'm going to burn this place down. Like, I'm not living with this. But when they're just like, okay, they're going to come sometime next week. Okay. That means they brought the roaches.
Yeah.
That means that they have roaches in their furniture, and it's an unfortunate situation because nobody who doesn't have roaches says, oh, that's fine. I'll wait till next week.
We got a call last week. I have fleas in my unit.
I'm like, you get down here, dude. I'll get a blowtorch. I'll start sanitizing this house right now. I'm not gonna freaking live with this, dude. When I was younger, we lived in an apartment. I woke up one morning and I was staring at a roach on my bed. He was like having a staring contest with me. I freaking called the management company, the office. It was closed. It was a Sunday. I was like, I don't give a shit who in the hell or what needs to happen, but this needs to be fixed right now or I'm packing my stuff and I'm leaving. Like, I'm not leaving. I'm going to live like this. There's no way.
Leaving a chocolate on your pillow.
Yeah. No thanks. I'm not doing that shit. You go and go get some water in the middle of the night. You're like, is there a cat in here? You turn on the right and there's freaking roaches everywhere. Yeah, it's gross. It's gross. There's no way. But yeah, when you get tenants to do that, you can tell. Like, dude, this is your living condition. That's why it's important to get out and take a look at the home. Mm-hmm. So, like, when our service techs, when they go out, they're trained. Like, dude, look around. You're there. You're not there just to fix, the garbage disposal. What's going on with the house? What's happening? Are the tenants taking care of it? And I would say 95% of tenants are good.
Yeah,
I would say we only talk about the crappy ones because quite frankly, if you're a good clean tenant and you're paying your rent on time, you're just freaking boring and nobody wants to talk. Nobody's going to talk about you in a podcast.
Exactly.
We're only going to talk about like the crazy ones, like
That's what's like. My uncle was a San Diego PD for 10 years, and that's what he said. He's like, every time we pull someone over, we don't know if you're going to be there's a 90% and there's a 10%. We don't know if you're that 10%.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So we have to treat everybody with the 10%,
exactly.
Even though you're the 90. No, we had one of our inspectors go to a property, and it was a vacant home. It was actually a bank-owned home. It was a Fannie Mae property. It was a rental. So he goes out there and he calls and he's like, dude, the house is vacant. There's nothing in it. The backyard has a swing. This is how he's describing it to me. The backyard has a swimming pool in it and one recliner chair. The pool's clean. The guy's being maintenance. He's all, and oh yeah, by the way, there's a naked girl laying out sunbathing next to the pool. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He goes, she's actually kind of good looking too. And
that was my next question.
Yeah, he goes, oh, that's what I said. What does she look like, right? Like he's no. She's actually kind of hot, right?
So what's your problem?
He goes, I approached her and she said, oh, the owner said I can be here. He goes, what's crazy is she doesn't have a bag. There's no clothes anywhere. He goes, I don't know where she came from. He goes, I don't know where she came from. I don't know what she's doing. So I go, well, dude, you got to go back and tell her she needs to leave, right? So he goes back and he tells her, like, yeah, you can't be here. I don't know what owner told you, but this is a bank property. I need you to leave. He says she got up and just walked away, like walked out the gate, butt naked, right? Like, So he gets back to the office. I'm like, he's downloading his pictures, and I'm like, so let's see. He goes, oh, I didn't take any pictures. I'm like, dude, you took 600 pictures of that house.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
You took like 14 pictures of the toilet, and you took no pictures of the girl hanging out by the what?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, those are the ones that I'm like, how come that doesn't happen when I go to a property? That never happens when I go to. I don't ever see like a naked
No,
person.
I usually get I had one property I went to. It was up in Diamond Bar, and I went to show the unit one day, and I go, and it's like a gated community, might I add. And I get in there, open the door. I'm opening the blinds, getting light in the house. I'm going through every room. I finally go to one of the bedrooms, and there's a naked dude in the fetal position in the corner, and he burned a hole through the carpet. So he started a fire. So he was probably there for overnight. And he's just rocking back and forth. And I'm like, oh, shit, okay. And I'm closing the door, and I go outside. I guess I'm calling the cops, you know?
You didn't want to kick him out?
He was a schizo. He escaped from one of the mental facilities close by.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, it was great. He stayed in the room the whole time, but I was like, holy crap. I was like, that was interesting. That was unique.
This is why you shouldn't go to a property by yourself.
Exactly.
That's actually disgusting, sir.
I know.
Yeah, no, we've encountered some. You encounter some very interesting things when you go to properties. So what's up, sound guy? Are you? Is everything okay over there? You know, what's the time frame? I have you on an hourly, don't I?
Well, we're at an hour 15 right now.
We're at an hour and 15. My sound guy's giving me the look like he's got to go somewhere. He's going, hey, dude, what's going on? Like, how long are you going to talk about this shit for? So anyway, I think that, so we're going to do this podcast every week. He's probably going to tell me the entire podcast. The microphone was in my face and you couldn't see it. Looked like a freaking microphone was just talking. So we'll probably have to fix that. But this is our first one. I think it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited I know a bunch of people are waiting to hear it. They want to see what the hell we're going to be yapping about. So I think what we'll do is we're going to do this every week. And Sound Guy, how long is it going to take to get this one up?
Couple days.
Couple days, he said. Okay, we'll see. We're going to hold him to that.
Yeah.
And where are people going to be able to hear this at? Just so they... Obviously, they're going to be hearing me. They already are listening to it, but...
They said Spotify,
Apple,
iHeartRadio.
Yeah. Boom.
That's what he said. That's the first thing he did when he came to me. Your voice will be on iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio. Who, my sound guy here listens to who do you listen to the most for podcast? Who are the guys you listen to? No Jumper. And who else? I know you listen like the...
Joe Rogan.
You listen to Joe Rogan?
Listen to Joe Rogan, so yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. What about like the Nelk? You listen to the Nelk podcast? Yeah, there's some interesting ones out there. It's funny because this younger generation, they don't actually watch TV. My son will never know what it means to have to look in a TV guide, or know what prime time is, or know that if he misses the show at 8 o'clock, he missed it and has to wait for a rerun.
Well,
And he doesn't even give a shit because he doesn't watch TV. He's got like a freaking 97-inch TV in his room. His room looks like a decommissioned like AMC theater with a bed in it. And I'm like, what do you use this for? Occasionally I'll put a podcast on it or something like that. Yeah, he doesn't care.
well, that's what's come to. I canceled my TV subscription like 8 years ago.
Yeah, but look at his like TV's like 97 inches, and then instead he'll sit there and watch it on his 3-inch iPhone.
No, that's the generation too. Will you ever look? So my 8-year-old son, if I go up to him and I'm like, imitate being on the phone, he goes like this.
Oh, he puts his hand flat?
Instead of going like this,
Oh,
like
yeah.
we go like this,
Yeah.
right? We got
Yeah.
the receiver and everything, and he goes like this.
Yeah, imitate it. I know, that's crazy. I know we did a property inspection out in for our vacation rentals. And so vacation rentals, because especially the ones out in the desert have an older crowd, they like to have a physical phone, a landline in the house. And so I told him, I said, go over and see if the phone's working. He picked it up. He goes, it's making some kind of weird noise. It was a dial tone.
Oh my god.
He's like, why is it making this weird noise? I go, that would be a dial tone.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, but we haven't had a house phone in years. So, I mean, we all have freaking cell phones. I don't know when you had a house phone. And I didn't realize he didn't know what a dial tone was. He had like no clues. Like, what's that noise and why is it?
There's a lot of things. It's what is it? They said we gotta remember. It's like the last 60 to 80 years, the technology, like the evolution of everything. It's been insane. It's been so rapid.
Oh no,
they said this is the right here now. This is the most advancement we've had in the last thousands of years. Like
I mean, just even in our trades, like I mean, the fact that you can go to a property and you can have everything. You can have your full MLS. all your files, everything on your phone, and talk to a client right there and be like, boom, fast information. You know, it's like you don't need to carry paper anymore. We haven't had a fax machine in like a decade.
I've been so happy I haven't had to shred things in a long time.
We haven't had a filing cabinet. I mean, I know our office, we have like a kind of a filing cabinet just to keep like some check stocks or whatever in it.
I remember you doing deb files. I have my legal folders. I put, punched the holes, put them
Stacking
in.
order.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we haven't had that. Everything's in the cloud. It does make it nice. But yeah, I mean, when we started, if we went to the realtor board, you could buy the card forms in triplicate copy. I don't know if they still sell them like that, but you could do that. I know there's some really old school people that want to do that. In fact, I was at a trade show recently and there's a company that sells paper forms and I'm like, what's this? And the guy goes, well, even though we're kind of a dying trade, believe it or not, there's still a lot of people that prefer to have their files and their hardcore files, and I'm like, really?
No, a lot of people don't even know what the carbon forms are or any of that stuff. Yeah.
No, that's crazy. My mom's 82. She's on Facebook. She's on Instagram, and she's like, I don't get people. Why don't they keep up with technology? She pays all her bills online. I'm like,
that's my grandma. She has her iPad. She watches, it goes on the news. Newspapers right there on there now,
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. So it's all been good. Well, we look forward to our sound guy getting everything up and getting our podcast kicked off. So the goal is we hopefully will be informative in real estate. We'll talk about different topics every week, and just kind of keep it light as just a general chat, I really right now I'm gauging it on my sound guy. If he looks like he's falling asleep, we're starting to, wander off into, boring territory. If he smiles, then I've said something that was slightly funny and he got a little bit of entertainment, which means maybe some of the younger real estate agents will listen to us. If it's too boring, he said, nobody's going to give a shit. He said, whatever you do, don't tell dad jokes and don't be boring.
Yeah, we got to educate and bullshit a bit. So that's why we, talk about the evictions with the, poop in toilets and what have you. So,
yeah. So all is good. So, and sir, sound guy, can I ask you, when you watch your other podcasts, how do they end their podcast?
You can ask everyone to follow our social media.
I can ask everyone to follow our social media, he says. And our social media, which is, and give me our handles again. It'll be in the link.
See, he doesn't even have signs up or anything like that.
If it'd be in the bio, the description.
So look at any of these corners right here.
It's going to be on
whatever
the screen.
he chooses, right? You'll look below.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have a clickable link right
Let's
there.
see, I'm going to test him right now. Hey, it's going to be right here. There's going to be a box right here. Let's see if he's good enough
Because we'll be on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Alexa,
oh wow,
Google
Podcasts, Alexa. We're on Instagram, Facebook for if you're really old school and you want to do Facebook. Are we doing MySpace?
It's still around, believe it or not.
Oh,
that's
man.
still a thing.
I had a really cool wall. I had a really cool wall on MySpace. I had graffiti on it. I thought I was like the shit.
I remember changing the music when the music came out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hell yeah, there's a music bar. We put our own
wait
song.
a minute. Hold on.
Remember the voicemails with the flip phones? You would record the music in the background. That was your voicemail.
Yeah. But we are also TikTok too, right? Okay, so I'm expecting that we should probably hit 1 million users on TikTok within the first 30 days. That's my expectation.
No.
Most of them will probably be bots.
That's probably underestimating too.
Yeah.
No.
So, and our sound guys are responsible for that. So if it doesn't happen, just know that we'll put his Instagram in the bio too, so you guys can send him your thoughts. So, all right, cool. Well, appreciate you guys listening, and we look forward to being a huge success in the space. And that's it for now. And we'll see you guys. Next week.
Peace.
Hey guys, this is Damien. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed listening to us ramble about real estate and property management. Don't forget to check out all our social media and visit our website for wholesale property management. You can find the link in the bio. If you have topics, questions, or crazy situations you want us to talk about, send us a message. See you on the next episode of ModTalk.